Let's go over now to Abuja, where Linda Akigbe is standing by with more on the news at 10. Hi, Linda.
Hello, Amarachi. Taking a break from politics. It's been a year since the abduction of Leah Sharibu, and her family is asking the federal government to rescue her from her abductors before the elections. At a prayer session which held in Adamawa State, northeast Nigeria, they expressed their dissatisfaction over what appears to be the indifference of the federal government to the fate of their daughter.
It's been a difficult year for the family of Leah Sharibu, and perhaps even more difficult for the teenager, whose whereabouts remain unknown after her abduction over 365 days ago. All hope is not lost, it appears, as the family continue to seek divine intervention. It's an emotionally charged atmosphere as they offer prayers for her safe return. On February the 19th, 2018, 110 schoolgirls were kidnapped by terrorists from the Government Girls Science and Technical College in Dapchi, Yobe State, northeast Nigeria. Today, only Leah Sharibu remains in captivity, while others have since been reunited with their families.
They should allow Leah to come back home right now before election, because that's our hope, that's our trust, that we can trust them. When they refuse to release Leah, it's purposely is clear that they are showing us we are nothing in the country.
The tears of a helpless mother who has had to endure months of uncertainty.
I don't feel happy at all, and I'm in distress, and we are going through terrible times without our daughter. We are calling on the government, just like when we spoke with President Buhari, and he further sent 3 federal ministers to our house who promised to secure the release of our daughter. Nothing has been heard from the government till this day. I am pleading with them that just the way her fellow girls were released, they should try and secure the release of my daughter. It is exactly a year today since they took her away from us. We are really suffering.
The congregation disperse, but they will be back, either for more prayers or perhaps a thanksgiving.
The Nigerian Air Force says its troops have decimated a Boko Haram terrorist camp and neutralized some of their fighters at a settlement called Boko in Borno State. According to a statement by the Air Force Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, the Alpha jet destroyed the insurgents' camp while providing close air support to troops of 82 Brigade of the Nigerian Army. The statement adds that the ISR aircraft spotted a group of terrorists within the village and vectored the Alpha jet to engage their camp with rocket fire, thereby degrading the terrorist structures and killing some of the fighters. The Air Force explains that it would sustain efforts to completely destroy all remnants of a terrorist in the northeast. Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria are protesting against the continued detention of their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, who has been in custody since 2015. The protesters stormed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today with different placards and pictures bearing the grounds on what they call the illegal detention of their leader. The protesters have clashed with security agencies during different protests in the past, some of which ended up in violent attack. But today's protest has so far been peaceful. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has adjourned to February the 27th, hearing on all appeals filed by the prosecution and defense counsel in the trial of Justice Walter Onnoghen at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. A 3-man panel of the appellate court, led by Justice Dati Yahya, granted the adjournment after the prosecution counsel, Ali Umar, prayed the court for an adjournment to enable him amend his brief. The lead counsel to the embattled Chief Justice, in his response, asked the court to refuse the application. But the presiding judge, Justice Dati Yahya, held that an adjournment is granted on the grounds that it would be the last time, as no delay tactics intended to stall proceedings will be entertained. The suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, is facing 6 counts of alleged non-declaration of assets at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, and he has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Amarachi.
Thanks a lot, Linda. Now, the federal government has declared Friday, February 22nd, 2019, what it calls a work-free day and not a public holiday. According to the presidential spokesman, Femi Adesina, this declaration is to enable INEC officials on essential duties to perform their functions on election day and also allow citizens return to their polling units. However, this work-free day does not include the banking sector and those offering essential services across the nation. Meanwhile, security agencies have been directed to ensure safety of lives and property before, during, and after the elections. In Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, Governor Willie Obiano has restated his commitment to the development of roads and bridges within the state. Mr. Obiano made the pledge during an inspection tour of ongoing projects in the North Senatorial Zone of the state.
Nzam Road is the first site of the inspection visited by Governor Willie Obiano and his team. It's a 10.2 kilometer stretch from Miata to Nzam, with a 120 meters bridge at about 6 spans of 20 meters each. According to the contractor, 6 kilometers have been achieved on the road work, while the bridge is at its final stage as the piling work has been completed.
We are trying all our effort to make the road motorable from here to Nzam as you have directed before. And we are going to use this opportunity of the dry season to work as much as possible in order to reach that area, because our people inside, they are suffering. The terrain is so difficult. There is a lot of water. There is a flood every year will come and cover the road. And may I mention again with your directive, we have raised the road for it to survive and to be above the flood level.
The governor assures the people that accessibility to all food basins in the North Zone will be provided to ensure massive agricultural development. Governor Obiano and his team arrived next in Umeje.
Since the creation of life, this is the first time people can drive from IMN in Anambra State to Anambra East without passing through Enugu State.
We felt that since this place alone can feed the whole of Anambra, we should give them an appropriate access road, and that's exactly what we have done.
Finally, the inspection is rounded off at Nengo Bridge at Nteje in Oyi local government area, where the governor expressed his satisfaction at the pace and quality of construction. The traditional ruler of Nteje, Igwe Roland Odego, is full of appreciation.
I promised I was going to get this bridge fixed, properly done. So we started this road work. Now we have linked Onnoghen, and I can assure you that in the next 1 week, everything about this bridge will be delivered. Nteje are very proud of you. This is a grateful community of Nteje, that you've opened up a community for the first time in the history of this town.
The massive infrastructural development going on across Anambra State is one the governor is really happy about, and he wants the contractors to utilize the dry season to complete the work.
This is next. Here's Anne Wawodo.
Thank you, Amarachi. Business News now begins with financial advisory giant PricewaterhouseCoopers predicting a possible rise in Nigeria's unemployment rate and slow economic growth. In that report, which examines Nigeria's economic outlook for the election year, the firm expects the country's real GDP to grow slightly to 2.5% this year on moderate improvement in net exports and domestic demand. At the same time, the auditing giant expects the country's unemployment rate to continue to trend towards as the youth population expands rapidly, with more than half of the population under the age of 30. However, PricewaterhouseCoopers predicts further growth for the economy after the elections that if uncertain post-election outcomes do not accelerate political tensions. And talking about Nigeria's economy, it is growing slower than the country's population growth rate. And that's according to a survey by FSDH Research. In the company's latest report, the country's economy expanded by 1.93% in the full year 2018, and that's higher than 0.82%, which was recorded in 2017. The report also shows that the country is unable to create enough job opportunities for the unemployed youth, which the Bureau of Statistics is putting at 21 million as of the third quarter of last year. FSDH Research further explains that the fragile economy recovery means that additional policies will fast-track economic activities in the country, and they are urgently required. Despite the tense political climate, the domestic stock market has sustained positive sentiments from yesterday's session into midweek performance on more bargain hunting by valued stocks. Chimezie Obiwagu has the details.
Thank you, Anne, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Investors have continued to take position in the equities market, with earnings still driving sentiment. The all-share index went up again, this time by 0.64%. The impressive result by Zenith Bank renewed confidence that more companies will announce better full-year 2018 results. The focus today, however, shifted to the consumer goods sector. Despite the not too impressive results posted by Nigerian breweries, investors still saw some potentials in it and took position, which helped to push the sector index up by 1.43%. The insurance sector gained 1.22%, but its impact on the general market performance cannot be compared to the oil and gas and banking sectors. The oil and gas was majorly driven by Double One, popularly known as Mobil. Transaction volume and value were quite impressive. Over 443 million shares worth about 5.6 billion naira were traded in 4,697 deals. Our banking stocks were the major volume contributors, led by Sterling Bank, after the lender listed 32 billion naira 7-year unsecured bond on the exchange. As another countdown to this Saturday's elections, analysts continue to advise cautious trading. And that was the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimezie Obiwagu. Back to you, Anne.
With those numbers, we end business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. Back to you, Amarachi.